Good afternoon and thank you for joining me for another 5-minute video. This will be a direct follow-up to the previous video which was on contradiction, and it's directly before this one. If you want to, you can check that one out and then come back to this one. This is in relation to the word iniquity. I wanted to be exact on the definition of that word. So for this video, we'll actually be looking at the words iniquity, transgression, and sin. I have at one point been confused by these words, that is before I studied them, because you can find them used in the same verse. In previous times, I had thought those to maybe emphasize one idea, which is sin. But if we look at the words individually, they actually have meanings for what will be being referred to at the time. So I'm going to give you 3 verses where you find all 3 words used, and then I'll give you 4 verses where you find at least 2 of the words used. So first, I'll give you the 3 verses where you find the 3 used. That is Exodus 34 verse 7, Job 13:23, and also Daniel 9:24. And if you like, you can go over the video again. I'm making it short for that reason, so that you can go over it as many times as you need to get those verses again. The 4 verses where you find it used at least twice: Numbers 14:18. Then you can go to Job 7:21. You can also check Psalm 32:1, and also Romans 5:14. So those are the 4 where you can find those words, at least 2 of them in those particular verses. Now for the definitions of each of the words. We will start with the word iniquity. Iniquity means evil behavior, or what we would consider immorality, or not even consider, we would call it immorality. So to behave, or to continue to behave, because if it's a behavior, it means it's something that a person continues to do and persists in doing. So that is what iniquity means: somebody who continually does evil. Transgression. Transgression is to rebel or to step over the line. For example, if God says, "Do not kill," and I kill, I have transgressed against God. Or if he says, "Do not steal," and I steal, I have transgressed against God. This is what often children will do as well with parents. When the parent says, "Don't do this," and I do it, I have transgressed. So that is the idea behind the word transgress. Now the word sin. Sin is the idea of missing the mark. If you think of, as a Christian, I know there's a certain way that I should be, but when I come to the realization that, you know what, I have not been what I should be as a Christian, then I realize I have missed the mark. So that is the idea behind sin. But the word sin, when I try to think of it from God's viewpoint, I tend to think it carries more than that. But for the sake of us to be able to understand the difference in between those 3 words, sin is missing the mark, transgression is rebellion or stepping over the line, and iniquity is immorality or evil behavior, which is continuous, or somebody persists in it. So in the previous video, I had mentioned the word iniquity and had actually assigned the definition for transgression to that word. But it's also good in that it has yielded the study of these 3 words, which I would encourage you to look more into them. As was mentioned in a previous video, if you come across a certain word or words like these ones, in a verse, all 3 of them, it's definitely a good idea to study more, take those words, look them up, open Bible dictionaries. Some Bibles actually have dictionaries in the back of them. So just look up words and their definitions, and then read those verses over again, it gives you a lot more insight into what is being spoken by the verse. So thank you for joining me for this 5-minute video, and I hope you continue to enjoy your studies. Have a good afternoon.